my name is Denise Sickenetter. I am so excited to be leading this ticket playbook. This reminds me back of our COVID days of all the people on here. So we're going to be talking theme nights. And so what we thought we would do is we walk through some of the things that we're seeing on our side of what's working with theme nights, and then talk about some ideas that are out there. Get your guys' input. We were hoping to have Samantha Lester from BDA on here. I don't know if a lot of you may work with BDA, but they have a lot of really cool ideas and licenses. So we'll discuss some of the things that she was going to mention. And yeah, the best thing is ask questions, jump in with your ideas or what's worked for you. That's what this is all about. So to kick us off, Kyra, do you want to jump in and kind of give a quick overview of some of the fun things that we've seen on Spin Zone?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Spinzo, we get to see a lot of really cool creative promotions run through the platform. And recently, I actually went through the 2024-2025 season and tried to just gather the th top theme nights, the theme nights that sold the most tickets essentially, or brought in the most revenue, or just had some really cool fan engagement pieces. And so I can rattle off a lot. If I'm talking about one that maybe you guys did through the platform, feel free to jump in and chime in with the details. But I'll start off with appreciation nights. That's kind of a tried and true one amongst multiple teams. So this is your teacher appreciation, educator appreciation, first responders, military, any type of appreciation nights always do really, really well. The cool thing about appreciation nights is there's so many different ways you can spin it, and there's so many different add-on and promo giveaway items that you can do. But these are the ones that we always see people come out on large quantities. So whether you're doing, one free ticket, buy additional tickets, or just a discounted ticket for your teachers, or allowing them to do some cool fan experience, those always work really well. So appreciation nights came on at the top of the list, number one.
Mhm.
Um, Second, Grateful Dead. I know that we've talked about this one a lot. A lot of different teams across the NBA specifically do Grateful Dead. So they work with the licensing to do like a co-branded t-shirt or co-branded jersey, some sort of co-branded item. And then usually they also do tribute bands on the concourse if they can swing it. And the Deadheads
Yeah.
do come out in numbers. It's a pretty dedicated, dedicated fan base. So that's one that has worked well year over year. Just some of the more like common ones, the Star Wars nights, the Harry Potter nights, the DC comic nights, any kind of theme night that is tied to a really niche fan base. Those are the ones that always do really well because you're gonna get, those dedicated fans out. And then there's also lots of opportunities for giveaway items, meet and greet opportunities, upsell opportunities that you can tie together with those. One that we also talk about a lot, the one that really took the numbers last year is Hello Kitty Night. That one really popped off. And I'm not sure if anybody from like the Sacramento Kings or the Ducks is on, but they did a really successful one. And everybody does it a little bit differently. Some teams like the Kings did a meet and greet where they had a couple different time slots where you can choose to come out and take a photo op with Hello Kitty herself. Some do like a co-branded lunchbox or a toad or some sort of nostalgic item. So that one is really popping off everywhere. I think Hello Kitty's been really, really popular. Um, some other ones, the tried and true Dia de los Muertos, any like Filipino heritage, Hispanic heritage, all of those are really fun. Bark in the Park, that's another really good one. I don't think we
Mhm.
have Aaron from the Rapids on, but they did a really good Bark in the Park. They sold out almost within like a week or something. Keep me honest, I don't remember the exact dates, but that one does really well. I think they did like a co-branded bandana that you got with your pup. I know there's a lot of different logistical things that are in play when you're bringing in
Yes.
puppies into the stadium. But that's always one that does very well. So that's my list of all the ones that we've seen through the platform. But I'll let anybody jump in if they've done one of those nights or if they have any details on when.
Questions on those nights too? Sorry, Kyra. If you have questions on those nights, if you haven't done one of those nights and you want to hear from other people, anybody comments or questions on any of those nights?
Has anybody done any of those that I've listed and had success?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
We can. Hi, Austin.
Hi, yeah, this is Austin here with the Portland Trail Blazers. Yeah, we did Grateful Dead Night the last 2 seasons. So honestly, I got inspired from Denver. Denver does a really good one, and I was able to connect with their team. So in year one, of doing the Grateful Dead night during the 23-24 season. We did 134 tickets for $5,700. Year one, we literally just did a t-shirt, and of course did like a little bit of paid social, but honestly it was more so just going to the Grateful Dead like affinity groups and Facebook groups in the Portland metro area and asking them to share amongst their groups. So a somewhat successful night. Obviously when you kind of come up with a night out of nowhere like Grateful Dead, you're hoping that it does 130 tickets for 5,700. And in year one, that was great. But in year two, this past year, we did it on the same night. We did Bill Walton's tribute night, which obviously, unfortunate that we had to celebrate Bill Walton's life, but also tried to do something that coincided with him and what he was a big fan of and doing Grateful Dead. So we did it on the same night as his memorial, but also we were able to bring in a Grateful Dead tribute band. And they performed at halftime. So we went from 130 tickets in year one to 313 in year two. And we went from 5,700 in revenue to 13,000. And that kind of has allowed us to now go to our game ops team and say like, hey, this band, which they were awesome. They go around and do tours in the area in like Washington and Northern California and stuff, and they'll go and perform. But they were great to work with, and it's kind of allowed us to lay out a blueprint of bringing them back for halftime performance next year. That'll just coincide with our Grateful Dead night next year. So both years we've done a t-shirt. Next year, we'll likely do the same thing, but we'll explore doing alternative options as well. But would be happy to connect with anyone here that would be interested in, trying to manipulate the same thing.
Awesome. Thank you, Austin. Really appreciate that. And I know we had chatted over email about just different ideas of promotional items for that night. You said you've done a t-shirt, but I think we've seen jerseys be done as well, both on the NHL and NBA side. So that's another idea. Anyone else like promotional item tied to like Grateful Dead or something along, kind of music lines? What kinds of different promotional items have you done or seen be successful?
We did bucket hats this year, if anyone can hear me.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, Molly.
Hi. Yeah, we did bucket hats. They were actually reversible. So one side was tie-dye just with our Canes logo. And then on the other side, it was solid red. And then we did the Grateful Dead Bears along with our just Carolina Hurricanes logo. So it kind of tied in both, even if people weren't necessarily Grateful Dead fans, they were still kind of getting something Canes related. So that proved to be pretty successful for us this year.
That's awesome. And people liked it. They were excited about it, Molly?
Yeah. Yeah. People were really
Good.
excited. I believe that was our first bucket hat item ever. So people were pretty into it. And I'm not totally up to date on the trends, but I think they're pretty popular nowadays. So people liked it.
I think they are. I think you're right, Molly. To that point, I actually did see a number of like Margaritaville nights. I've seen a number of people do straw hats. It's been mostly baseball teams that I've seen do that, but because obviously you're sitting out in the sun, it's a great opportunity. But if you're a winter sport or like an NBA, NHL team, what better than to have, and I come at this with my marketing hat, than someone wearing your straw hat with your logo on it at the pool during the summer. That's a great way to keep yourself top of mind. So it doesn't hurt to do something like that too. So straw hats, bucket hats, those are cool. Any other items with those types of nights?
A question for the group, and Molly or Austin, you can jump in, but when you do those specialty items that become hot commodities, do you guys open them up for resale? Like, are you able to sell those outside of that night? So let's say someone can't make your Grateful Dead night or can't make your Margaritaville night. Do you allow season ticket members or certain people purchase those items separately?
We don't put them in retail just because and I'm sure Molly can speak to it as well, but with the Grateful Dead, and working with their team at Rhino, they're really particular in terms of like what we can and can't do for the night. So allowing it to be sold in retail is like a totally different thing that would have to be built into the legal language that we work with them on. So we don't do anything retail wise. Like I put in the chat, I guess one thing to add is like we order a set amount of shirts This year we under ordered on some sizes, so we did open the offer back up and allowed people to buy shirts, or excuse me, buy the package and then pick up their shirt at a later date, just at our office. On the other side, like when we would set up the shirt pickup at a game, we would have a ton of people come over and ask like how they can buy one, or what they can do. We don't allow people, I don't believe we don't allow people to buy them just at the game. But what we would do is get their information, so that going into next year we would kind of have like an interest list, like a lead list, so that we can just blast that info to them once the offer is set out. So this year we had 300 people buy the package prior to the game, but at the game itself I bet we probably got like between 50 and 60 leads that would be interested in coming next year. So
That's a smart idea, Austin. I like that.
And it's that element of like FOMO, right? Like you missed out this year, you better be on it next year. Buy the package early.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it's important to do a preset number just to drive, urgency too. Brandon, I saw you unmute. Go for it.
Yeah, so we did a Grateful Dead. It wasn't one of my nights, but we did Grateful Dead night where we paired it up with the Pistons and Motor City Crew, which is Motor City Crew's a G League team. So technically it was like a G League event with jersey. We did like a basketball jersey. I could share my screen. It's with Fivo, so if we don't mind, we share my screen with Fivo, but like it's a competitor. But I'll share my screen real quick.
This is Ticket Playbook. This is an open space.
I get it. I know.
This is meant for everyone, Brandon.
Oh, that is cool though.
That's the jersey. So it has both the Pistons logo and Motor City Cruise logo on it. They get both a cruise ticket and a Pistons ticket. So we sold about, for the first year we did it, we sold about 133 tickets for about, I want to say like $7,000. So it was kind of our first time doing it. So we co-branded with both the Pistons and the Cruise on both sides too. One of the things that we saw the most success with was our Heritage Nights. We've done Heritage Nights for, I think, ever since I've been with the Pistons. And this year was a little bit different because we saw a lot more interest. And there were some people like, we did like a Heritage series.
Okay.
From like Croatian to Serbian to Macedonian. It's kind of like our college night series, but it was with baseball jerseys that we did. We saw the Boston Red Sox did baseball jerseys for Heritage Nights, but we didn't like, we were kind of thinking, does baseball jerseys make sense for a basketball team? Would people be very interested in that? So we actually did it, and we've sold out of like, I think 4 or 5 of our Heritage Nights. We sold out of the jerseys. We had to go back and pre-order more. And we just took people's names and numbers and their email, and the emails, but their addresses to mail them the jerseys later on because we ran out so much. But I can show you those too. Let me go back to, and I'll show you the one that we did for Filipino. I thought that was one of the topics. Filipino. Sorry, it's taking a while here. Let's see. Filipino. Did I spell it right? Sorry about that.
Oh, Brandon.
Here we go.
Brandon, while you find this, just out of curiosity, is this something that the price is built into the ticket for the jerseys, or is it?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't put the whole price into it. We basically budget it out, but we put like maybe $3 or $4 towards the ticket price to kind of increase it a little bit to kind of cover that cost. The rest of it, we try to keep it to where it stays within our budget. So like the baseball jerseys were a little bit more expensive. So as you can see, the baseball jersey for the Filipino is different themes. So we had like different colors. We had like Detroit on it, the Pistons logo, and then on the sleeve it was the flag of that country. And we had some people buy the tickets just to get the jerseys for every Heritage Night. They weren't even part of the Heritage Night. They just wanted to collect the jerseys. And we've had, it was crazy. Like this night I had to ship more out because we had to order 3 months in advance because they were coming from China. And like we just had to it wasn't here locally. So you couldn't get additional ones in time, like a week before. So we had to, order based on what we did last year, and it just sold out every time. So it was amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I like the concept that you did a baseball jersey for a basketball team, which just basically shows that that doesn't matter. It's really more about the product and the fact that it's tied to your brand, number one. Number two, it's limited in that or numbers. And then last, it's tied to who they are, it speaks to them. So I think that's cool. Thank you for sharing, Brandon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very cool. So with that, like what other theme nights are we contemplating? What other theme nights have you guys done that we didn't mention? I mean, I can give you some of my down and dirty Googling, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have, what you guys are doing or working on.
So I was curious about Hello Kitty Night, if anyone's done those. We obviously keep hearing them on league calls, so wanted to see if anyone on the call has done that and just what the hook is there besides Hello Kitty.
Yeah, great question, Erin. So who's done Hello Kitty?
Happy to jump in here. Can you hear me?
We can.
My name is Andrea. I'm with the Phoenix Suns. I'm trying to turn on my camera here. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but we did Hello Kitty night for the first time this past season. We had an offer with single game tickets, and then we also had an offer through Spinzo that allowed the reps to create like a Spinzo affiliate link and send it out there. Not sure about the single game market numbers. I do know it was like really successful. In terms of Spinzo, we did about like a little under 300 tickets for about $25,000. And this was a night that was put together a little bit like we didn't have as much of a runway to put this together. So thought it was really successful for the amount of time we had to, get that out there and plan. We had two different types of offers based off the ticket you purchased. So if you did purchase like a more expensive lower level ticket, you got like a Hello Kitty lunchbox. And then if you bought like an upper level ticket, you got like a Hello Kitty like little keychain. You could put like lanyard that you could put on your keys or whatnot, and those were super popular. We did have a few remaining items that were available, and to the point of like, do we allow them for resale or do we give them to season ticket holders? We actually tried leveraging those items as a way to get the groups that did come out to place a group deposit for the following season. So we did it like if you place a group deposit by this date, so our cutoff was like May 9th. If you placed a group deposit by then, like specifically for a Hello Kitty night, or if that was just interest, that was the incentive, we would give them like one of the excess items that we had available.
Awesome. Did
Very
you guys
cool.
have to get licensing with that too? Like, was there a cost associated?
I can't speak to costs associated with that because we had a former director that was here that oversaw that. I do believe we did have to get licensing fees. And there was so much more opportunity to scale it. Again, we were just working with such a tight runway, but we've heard of like there's Hello Kitty trucks that like come out and go around. Like I even tried reaching out to some of them, but just wasn't able to. But I definitely think there were licensing fees that were involved and associated.
Erin, I know BDA, so Samantha Lester, who is going to be on, BDA has licenses with Sanrio and can help you. So they can help you with getting those items. But we've seen people do plushes, we've seen the lunch boxes, we've seen tote bags, we've seen all sorts of different things. And you can even, when you license with them, I know like the Trailblazers, their page had Hello Kitty in a Trailblazers jersey holding a basketball. So like you can do some stuff that's really fun, with rapids and soccer ball. So I can connect you with Samantha. I know she focuses on NBA, but I'm sure she'd be willing to connect you or help you, Erin.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you got it. Absolutely. Other questions about the current nights or other nights that we are, people are starting to work on or want to try to do?
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah, jump in.
So, my name's Marie. I'm with the Indy Ignite Pro Volleyball. So we just finished our first inaugural season, which is super exciting, but also means we're literally doing everything from scratch. I'm wondering if anybody has done like a glow or glow in the dark night. We're thinking about doing that for our
I like it.
first game of 2026. Just wondering if anybody has any ideas for that.
It's a cool concept, Marie. I haven't heard of that one, but I'm sure someone has. Anyone done it? And then are you thinking like you would just turn off the lights like in between games, or how would that, what's the thought process?
Yeah, so this concept actually comes from I have a friend that works for the Tri-City Chili Peppers, which is like a collegiate baseball team, and they're doing the glow baseball under the black lights. We're definitely not doing blacklight volleyball, but just that sort of theme where we're gonna have, you know, rally towels that light up so that in between sets, lights go out, things like that. But just other promotional items, would love to hear any ideas about.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyone done anything glow related or that would tie into that? Any ideas or thoughts?
I don't know about other giveaway items, but I recently went to the Georgia Aquarium, a little bit off topic, but they were doing like their summer glow nights and they were giving away glow sunglasses to all the little kids. So
Oh
they
yeah,
were
that's
just
a good
like wearing
idea.
like glow in the dark. So that might be a cool item.
That would be a really cool item because then everyone could put them on, you know, that's easy
Mhm.
to put on. I like that. I mean, you've always seen at concerts those wristbands too that light up and you can control them. I don't know how expensive those are, but that's an option too. You could obviously you could probably tie it into like a neon theme too, potentially, and have people wear either white or neon, like, or it could be a whiteout because white's really cool when you get into glow. We've done again off topic, but to the point of glow. We've done a mother-son glow party through my son's school, and again, it's either wear neon or white, and they typically hand out like glow bracelets or necklace, those kind of cheap ones. They've had those like what do you call them? The things that thunder sticks. That's what they're. I wanted to call them bangers, but that's not what they're called. Thunder sticks that light up or glow too. So that could be really fun to do that, and you could potentially buy them in different colors and let you know put them around the arena in different ways. So those are some things that I think could be really, really fun. And then I think some in-game promotions, like if you're doing contests and stuff, doing some things in the dark could be really fun too.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Success brand. So that's the company we use for the baseball jerseys. And part of it is they have these like light glow sticks that they have like
There you go.
lightsaber glow sticks that you can use too as well. They're showing pictures
Perfect.
of like glow sticks, like that stadium in dark with the glow stick going too. So that could be pretty cool too. Is maybe tied in with Star Wars as well, where people have
Yes.
lightsabers too. So
Good idea, Brandon. I like
Yeah.
that. Very fun.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Like I said, we're starting ground up. So we have a very small team here. So it's pretty much all hands on deck.
You got it, Marie, though. Other ideas? Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi everyone. My name is Jackie. I'm here with the Portland Trailblazers. I manage our first responder nights here, where I know historically the past 2 seasons we've implemented a challenge coin add-on. So fun souvenir take-home item that I know a lot of the folks like within this aligned demographic will have as just like different collectibles from being on the job, etc. Was curious to learn a little bit more about if anyone is doing first responder nights in other markets and any other items that you guys have implemented to drive new sales for that night. I am more than happy to drop the brand that we work with in the chat. They're really great for like reordering really quick. They're going to be signature coins, but if anyone else has other item add-ons that they've used for any like first responder type events, would love to kind of collaborate either like offline or just like in this chat in regards to like kind of what's worked, what hasn't, and yeah, kind of chat through with anyone else on this call.
Great question. Go ahead, Amari.
Hey guys,
I was
Arnold.
just gonna, I was just gonna say it's not me, but my coworker Sarah. She's done a first responders night, so I can connect the two of you. I'll send you her LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mari.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Arnaldo.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Arnaldo with the Nashville Predators. I currently in charge of our first responders night. Split it up with military having their own, and then police and fire together. So we did challenge coins in the past. It's our biggest grabber. Just with different designs. I don't know if you can see, but like this was our police one we did. And then we partnered with the National Memorial Fund. So I have the Thursday ones there. And then this was our military one we did this year. And then this was my first year. Pretty cool design with the guitar pick.
I love that.
With the branches all around. Biggest attention grabber we did. It's a little different, but we did a post-game hockey versus fire hockey game, which was really attention grabbing, and it gave back to them. They had a great time. So I think like Yeah, the promotional item was an attention grabber, but them getting to play on the ice after was, one that they really found meaningful to them. So probably I would say like trying to add some little portion of a post game or pre-game kind of option for them to play would be a pretty good one, especially for the families to watch them.
Yeah, it's great. Jackie, we also saw years ago the Red Wings did a jersey. So they did like, and they had two different jerseys. They had a police jersey and a fire jersey. And so that was like really like, there was a lot of pride in having the jersey that represented police or fire. And they, kind of, it was like one of those things. They also did a leaderboard, and so they, for just bragging rights, like who's bringing out more, is it police versus fire? And intrinsically those two professions are very competitive, because they think each one of themselves is better than the other. We're grateful for both of them because they will keep us safe, but that's another idea too. You could potentially do like two different t-shirts or two different hats or two different jerseys, and then track and have them choose which one they want.
Well, thanks for everyone's time and insight. I also manage like our military night as well as like our nursing night. So if anyone on this chat is wanting to connect offline in a different setting, feel free to like look me up on LinkedIn, shoot me a note. We can connect from there.
You got it. Awesome. Austin, go ahead. You raised your hand.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I know Brandon mentioned that the price of the jersey is built into your budget, but then you have a small portion of it that's tacked onto the ticket. I guess just for anybody else, I'm noticing a theme with like a lot of jerseys as an item, which is awesome, but just curious to know if you see any struggle with the amount of tickets that are sold if the full price of the jersey is built into the ticket. So if it's like a $30 jersey tacked onto a $40 upper level seat or whatever, do you struggle with those? Because I know for me and for us, like we did a college series last year and tacked on the full price of a college co-branded hat, and it was like a $20 hat, and we see a little struggle with that just because people are then having to weigh, do I want to buy a upper level ticket for $60 when I can go online and get it for 20, but I get this hat with it, so it's almost like the hat is worth 40. You know what I mean? So just curious to know if anyone struggles with tacking on the full price of the item onto the ticket versus, to Brandon's point, budgeting for the item and still tacking on just a little bit.
Great question. Any thoughts on that from anyone?
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely, if we tacked like the price of the jersey on top of the price, yeah, I don't think we would sell as many as we did. I think it's very important. Like if you guys have a budget for different promotional items, to utilize that, but then have a small portion, kind of go back to kind of decrease using all the budget. And that's kind of what we did too as well. And we also made the Heritage Nights a fundraiser too. So each ticket that was sold, $5 went back to whatever organization they wanted to go to. So for the Heritage Nights, we did certain churches, they wanted money to go back to for the youth programs, or associations wanted to go back to their associations that they can use for their nonprofits. So we kind of portioned it a little bit, but it was basically like a small amount that we tacked on. So it wasn't a huge amount that they saw a difference if they went on Ticketmaster or StubHub. They didn't see a huge difference in pricing, because that's going to be huge. That's going to be your biggest competitor is these secondary sites that offer prices differently, because people always shop around trying to find different pricing. So if we offer an item that's not as expensive, it's a little easier for you to justify it than if it's like a $20 item on top of a $20 ticket that shows $20 on StubHub. So
yeah, absolutely. So we are a little over time. We can still stay. We want to stay and continue this conversation, but we understand if people need to drop, you can, but we're still going to stay and continue this conversation for as long as you guys want to chat. So,
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
So I'm running our pickleball night here. This will be our first one. So we're going through Volair for our paddles. This will probably be our most expensive promotional item, it being $35 a unit. So we're a little bit on the nervous side of like it being a pricier, unit and then adding it on top of a ticket. Just wanted to see, has anyone done a pickleball night with Volair before? And just to see what your thoughts were and pretty much your strategies to build up that night.
I know there's a number of them.
So I'm doing a first year pickleball night as well with the Dream. And so yeah, sort of doing the same thing at the moment. We do have the full unit on the pricing for us. I'm not sure of your starting price, however. We're in a unique situation where our starting price is around 30 so for a ticket. So adding it on isn't too bad. I've had most success reaching out to different like organizations, maybe clubs, them buying maybe like 30 tickets at a time. And in that route, I've seen a lot of success that way, as well as the YMCA is actually going to send out my offer in a newsletter.
That's great. I know Valaire's a popular one. I will say there was an NBA team that did not work with Valaire, and they worked with a different provider, and they basically got snubbed because their paddle wasn't quality enough. So I think quality of the paddle is important to pickleball players. I am not a pickleball player, so I don't speak that language, but I think that that's really important. And I know there's been a ton of nights with Valaire as the provider, so.
So I did a couple pickleball nights. This last season we tried to do the paddle. I got declined by our management team to not work with Villar because the price was so high for the paddle. So we had to buy them up front. You get to buy 200 of them and then hopefully recoup your money back from the promotion item. And they just, yeah, obviously Clark's my director. He definitely declined that, and our VP declined that too. So I went somewhere else for a cheaper version with I basically did like a version with Hooper, our mascot, on it, which kind of I thought would attract kids because it's more of a kidsy type of thing in the back end with 313%. Not 313. It was like our area code 313. Everybody's using their area codes for promotional things, so that had that on there too. It didn't go well. I think we sold like 6 tickets out of the whole as the 200 paddles we ordered. So I just gave our paddles to our member service team because they're doing a member event at a pickleball place. So I just had them give away to people. So we took a loss on that one. But the one event that I saw a lot of success was we have a practice facility, and that's where we work and operate out of our practice facility, because the arena we're kind of tenants, so we don't actually stay there. We just go there for games. So we actually had pickleball tournaments on our actual practice court for a day. So they did tournaments there. And I partnered with a pickleball organization that was just they were so detail oriented, and she had it down to a T of everything, like how this tournament ran, and it was perfect. Like we sold over 200 tickets to do that tournament because we only had a certain amount of time to have on the court. So we could sold more if we wanted to, but we had to limit it. But I think if you guys have access to like if the ice is not in the arena for Arnaldo, I would do it there. You know, if you have access to the court and just be able to put pickleball court on, like we just taped it. We just cut the court down. We just taped the court with the painter's tape, and then they brought their own nets and boundaries. It was kind of cool. It's a different atmosphere, different thing. It's not the greatest playing surface, but who cares? It's doing something different.
It's an Instagram moment.
Yeah, exactly.
We're playing in a different place.
So we did that for 2 years. It was good, and then I think we're kind of giving up on pickleball just because we just been seeing decline in the interest with us. So
I was also going to say, I had an idea as well with my boss about upcharging it for members. So maybe putting an allotment aside so that way they sort of off balance some of that pricing as well. So let's say adding like an additional $10 to how much the cost was, and that way just selling it to members as just the paddle, and then you sort of get some of that money back to offset that pricing that you did for the actual ticket.
It's a good idea. Great idea. Does that help at all?
Yeah, it does. I
Okay,
appreciate
good.
that, guys.
Perfect. Other questions or other ideas out there?
Yeah, sorry, I know I've probably talked a
Austin,
lot.
you're good. Jump in.
Quick question just for anybody. A couple of years ago when I think like 3 years ago, maybe now, we did an offer with Portland State Athletics. So essentially, like if you bought a Trailblazers ticket to a Trailblazers game, you also got a free ticket to one of their either football or basketball games. And then the way we did it is we shared the buyer list with their athletic team, and then once they showed up to the game, they'd be on a list and they would get in for free. in retrospect, they ended up getting NCAA violations, so wouldn't recommend doing that. But the point of the question is does anyone else do any like cross sport offers? So for example, like Brandon, do the Pistons do anything with the Lions? Arnaldo, do the Preds do anything with the Titans? Like anything that's kind of like cross sport, just to whether it be like an item included or a different offer. I know like there's always like, there's like youth basketball nights or youth soccer or whatnot. Like one of our teammates here does works with a local swim team, and they do like a swim cap, but more so thinking like from a larger theme of doing a item or a night that involves other teams.
We've talked about it. I think it just goes the licensing between different leagues is probably the biggest struggle. And then just, finding a number that would equally split revenue between everyone. That was the other biggest issue. So we've thought about it, but it just hasn't really fully gone to effect on, making it something that would work successfully.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing with Ronaldo said, like revenue share is gonna be the tough part, but we actually had one success. We do a Michigan night, our college nights. We have a Michigan night series. Clark kind of brought that from the Red Wings to the Pistons, where we had Michigan State night, Toledo, Ferris State, all the local universities do nights and they get a co-branded item. We actually did the offer at a Michigan game because it's kind of hard because they have a different ticket system than we do. So they sold the tickets at one of their games, and then they just showed us who the list of people were, what tickets they bought, and then we had to go back in and manually put them into seats for that particular game and add their voucher in for that giveaway. And then we just send them an email to know how to access the tickets, and then how to get that item when it comes to the Pistons game. But it's definitely feasible. But with other professional teams, it's a little bit tougher because we're technically competitors. Like I don't see us doing anything with the Red Wings because we are competitors with them. Same thing with the Tigers and the Lions too, because we play at the same time the Lions do, same thing the Red Wings do. So I don't think they really want to share anything. The Lions don't really need it because they're successful right now. Red Wings maybe a little bit, Tigers not so much. But I think with collegiate, I think maybe like with if you do a college night, that might be something you can do is reach out to the college organization. They can sell it at one of their college events. If you guys do like I can't think of a college in Oregon, but like Gonzaga, I don't know if Gonzaga's there, but that's something you guys can do too as well. So
yeah, I will say, Austin, I can find the example, but there was a baseball team. I want to say it was in Texas. I can't remember if it's the Astros or the Rangers. They do cross promotion nights. I think it's less about selling double tickets and it's more about selling a co-branded item. So it seems to be like they will go out and sell, okay, this is the Rangers night, with the Mavericks, and then the Mavericks will do the same thing later with a co-branded item. So that was one of the ideas I wrote down. That is something that is out there that I've seen teams do, and I can get back with you on exactly which baseball team it was, but there was one that was doing, and they did one for every team in the market. So there must be something that they're working collectively in their market on it. So.
yeah,
But I think it does get tough when you try to do two tickets, splitting the revenue. Like that gets a little more. It's more like let's co-brand our teams together.
and I saw the same thing with the Tigers and Red Wings. The reason that worked out because it's the same ownership.
Same owner.
So that's why they worked out. Because I think they did a Red Wings night at Tigers game. They did a Tigers game at a Red Wings game. That's why it worked out because the Illiches own both those teams. But I've never seen where us went to the Red Wings. So yeah.
I can add to what you were saying, Denise. The one team that does quite a bit with the others in market is the Frisco Rough Riders. I've had conversations with them because we have explored a little bit about doing with the Reds, since they're literally less than 50 feet away from us. There's no overlap in season unless obviously, the Reds with the October to December part, they're going to the World Series. But the Rough Riders, I know, do one with the Stars. They do one with the Mavericks. Obviously, with them being a Rangers affiliate, they did one with the WNBA squad down there. And they all did it through FIVO. They had a branded item. I know 2 or 3 of their packages involve preseason attendance. I want to say it was with the Stars. They could opt for 2 different preseason games. I can't speak to the Cowboys because they also did one with them, or what they did with the WNBA team down there. But they have quite a few. And in fact, I attended a game having worked for that ownership group. I attended a game, and in the corner was all their past leftover jerseys, and they had a Dallas Stars, they had a Dallas Mavericks co-branded, Rangers co-branded jersey that they wore on the field, and those were the leftovers for sale.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was Dallas. That makes sense because I remember seeing the wings, the co-branded wings thing. So I think it is the Texas Rangers. So thank you, Taylor, for confirming that. So you mentioned leftover promotional items. One of the ideas that I saw the St. Louis Cardinals, and I know other teams have done this, they did what's called a garage sale. And so basically you buy a ticket and then it comes with theirs was 3 previous promotional items, but you would essentially set up like tables, like a garage sale, and people could come pick it. But they sold that out. So for those teams that do have, you know, loser promotions, that you have all these leftover promotional items, there's a way to get people to buy a ticket and actually get some of that back. And some people, you know, just like a garage sale, one person's trash is another person's treasure. So just because your pickleball players didn't want your hooper paddles, someone else would think it is a treasure. So I think that's a really cool idea.
And one thing to add on, not the garage sale, but I think Amari touched on it as I entered in. I apologize, I entered a little late from another meeting. For those of you that have leftovers, or say it's a ticket and branded item, we allow our season ticket holders to buy it at cost. So if they already have a ticket for the game, they're going to buy whatever that is. And we end up seeing a lot of our inventory go, especially if it's not a night that did well on that specific co-branded package. Prime example, we did a Charlie Brown mug this past year. For whatever reason, it did not take off as anticipated, but our season ticket holders were buying 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, to the point where our end of the year garage sale setup that we have, there was only maybe 15 of them left to be added into that. So that's something that we offer currently for just those specialty items.
I love that you mentioned Charlie Brown, because that was one of the ones that BDA has a license with Peanuts, and I'm like, when is a team gonna do like a Charlie Brown Christmas theme and actually give away like miniature Charlie Brown Christmas trees? You know how it's like full, and then it only has like one ornament on it, but that ornament, I was thinking about this last night. I was like, that ornament could be branded to your team, and that would be kind of cool to have this little like thing that you can sit on your desk that's a Charlie Brown Christmas tree that's branded to your team. So. Just a thought that I had. I usually have random thoughts when I'm like drying my hair, or, you know, late night thoughts. You know, I'm always thinking about theme nights.
I actually had a question for the group. I'm trying something new.
Oh, we lost you, Brandon. At least I did. Can everyone hear him? Oh. Try it again. No, we lost you. I don't know if it's your headphones, because we see you. No. Ah! It was good the whole time. Go ahead, try it again.
Well, he sorts that out, Denise. I just wanted to talk about promotion of theme nights. Amari mentioned getting the YMCA to share pickleball night. And at Spinzo, we've seen some of our like Grateful Dead nights, and NHL and NBA sell over 2,000 tickets. Some of our Grateful Dead nights sell over 2,000 tickets. And one of the key things is when they really consider all the affiliates that are going to go and promote this. And in Spinzo, we call them affiliate links. But if you have YMCA promoting it, give them a custom link so you could track their success. We see Reddit groups, specialized Facebook groups. If you're doing Star Wars night or DC Comics night, you're going to find pockets of fans, even local in your city, that are on subreddits. So it's important to put those out there, and we're seeing success with that, including special links to Jumbotron, and also to really tailor to your audience of all past years Star Wars buyers. And maybe you can cross promote DC Comics night to them. So these kind of things are very important to get very tailored with the audience that you promote. So this is very different than group nights where you can go to very niche audiences.
No, we still can't hear you, Brandon. Ah! I don't know what happened. Do you want to type a question, type it into the chat, and then I can throw it out there? Can do that. While he's working on a couple other things that I saw, Stranger Things is another
Can you guys hear
trending.
me now?
Yes, we can.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. Go for it. It's good to have friends.
You guys hear me?
You're good. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to talk to the group about doing like a card show, like a sports card show, where a Pistons ticket would go towards like the entrance to a card show that we have here at practice. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. So
It's a great idea. I haven't heard of card shows, but we've seen sneaker fests. Memphis has done that, a couple other teams. But anybody else done a card show?
So I've thought about it. Biggest issue we ran into is just all the licensing.
Can you say it?
Are the people able to sell their stuff in here? And things like that. I know I saw I'm trying to remember what team. I want to say it was a Vegas baseball team or something like that. Minor league that they did it on their concourse, and I saw the Brewers did one. I don't know if anyone from the Brewers is here, but they also did a sports card night. So I'm also interested to see if that works and how the process went.
Awesome. Jared, go ahead. You raise your hand.
Yeah. So, hey everyone, I'm with Jared with the Stockton Kings. We kind of similar to Denise, what you had shared as well. We hosted both a collectibles, so card collectibles, and a sneaker night this past year with our team. So our collectibles night, we worked with the San Francisco and Tri-Valley Card Show. They're just a local vendor. They brought in about, I want to say 30 or so vendors. Unfortunately, they definitely covered. We were trying to get them to do a little bit more sports focused. It definitely skewed a little more Pokemon, more on that collectible side as opposed to the sports side. I feel like after we saw that it was a pretty successful event, I think the vendor was a little more bought in for this upcoming season. It seems like it's probably a direction we're going to move in, and I think they have a better understanding of that. We need to have more sports, but at least in terms of like a proof of concept, it definitely worked out for us pretty well. It was one of our more successful nights in terms of revenue this year and ticket revenue. Definitely helped that we also played the Lakers, and just the possibility of Bronny James playing against us definitely helped. He didn't play on the road against us, but still worked out in our favor. But like I said, we were able to have about 30 vendor booths across the concourse, and allowing people to kind of buy, sell, trade all sorts of cards, collectibles, memorabilia, things like that. And then just kind of adding to that in terms of the sneaker night. We've hosted sneaker night now 3 years in a row, and that's another one of our most successful nights. In our first season, I think we had like 70 to 80 vendors along the concourse, and it was sneakers, vintage clothing, things of that nature. And that specifically, we work with a local vendor called the Link Up, who has a bunch of different vendors and such that they host kind of monthly types of events. They just decided to, hey, we'll work with them for one of their monthly meetups that they host, and we were able to host it at our arena, and now we've done that for the last 3 years, hosting that. It's again one of our more successful nights. It's been a lot of fun when we're able to have people kind of buy, sell, trade sneakers as well. So basically we took that kind of concept and framework of the sneaker night and put that into doing a card collectibles, and it does help in terms of the card collectibles. Not only is that market just absolutely booming, but specifically for the G League this past year, they got the first ever G League with Topps set of cards. So we
cool.
I into that hype a little bit more. We had the opportunity for fans to buy G League Topps cards from our team store as well. We tried to see if we could get Topps for the G League bought in a little bit more to it. Unfortunately, they did not participate as heavily as we would have wanted, but they were at least able to get us some good deals on cards and things like that. And I think we have, at least going into this year, a lot more fun ideas, whether that's bringing in a former player or another like a Sacramento Kings player, something like that, or hosting live box breaks, things like that on the concourse. So I would say if it's something that you guys are exploring, it's definitely something I would continue to explore, and I'm happy to answer any other questions people might have.
Quick question, Jared. With all your vendors and stuff like that, was there some kind of package for them to pretty much have their tables out there, or was it kind of a hey, come and support for free kind of deal, or
Yeah, so basically every vendor had to pay a certain fee, and that also kind of included a couple of tickets for each booth. Whether they decided to use that personally or if they wanted to promote that on their own social media, there was a fee. It definitely is not like our typical fee that we would do for if you were a business hosting like a concourse informational booth or something like that. It definitely was a little bit lower, but that I think for that a lot of it was just to kind of get them bought in and see, hey, does this actually work, and is this something that we can do for our community further like for further years. So it wasn't anything too crazy, but it was definitely something that at least made us feel like, hey, at least is compensating for the ticket price, as well as a little bit more of an added on fee that, hey, you're able to bring your small business out to and kind of be a vendor and buy sell trade.
Yeah, so Jared, Brandon was asking a similar question, like what do they pay for do they pay for the tables? So that's
So they're basically, when they're paying for the table, they're also getting a couple of tickets added into it. So for an example, if they were paying $250 for the table, that would include 4 tickets for the event as well, and whether they decide to keep that personally or they want to promote it on social media and try to encourage maybe their other supporters to kind of come out and support.
Sorry, another question real quick.
Sure.
In terms of like the selling and everything, like I think in here with the Preds, it's kind of a gray area of being allowed to sell. How did you guys kind of go around that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's definitely a tough thing for us because we obviously don't want to hurt our own arena because similar to, I'm sure a lot of you guys were a tenant of our arena, so we obviously don't want to hurt any arena sales. Like we don't do anything food related, but then when it comes to our team store, obviously not trying to hurt them. But from everything we had discussed internally, everyone was kind of on board. We didn't really see a lot of people that would be impacting others. I mean, obviously we did have the G League cards that were available, which would maybe the only thing that would probably be an impact, but we didn't see too many people kind of gravitating towards those. If I'm being honest, that wasn't like a big hitter for people to try and come grab those G League boxes or things like that. But we didn't see much of an impact really on anybody. And we didn't necessarily ask for anything specific. I believe they had to submit seller permits and things like that, but typically that was taken care of through the vendor, which was nice. The vendor was kind of like a third party for us, and they kind of treated it as their own event, and then we just worked alongside that vendor to work with all their other vendors that they would bring in.
Awesome. Jared, you should have that vendor come back. If you said it was heavy Pokemon Go, you should have a Pokemon night and then do the sports one too. So just double dip.
It's definitely something we've kicked around for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think for us, we're even just thinking maybe we'll have a small section that's like, hey, this is going to be Pokemon and things focused and kind of those areas, and then everything else more sports heavy. But it's definitely an area we've even just thought about, hey, do we want to break those up as well?
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Other questions for the group, other ideas that we want to throw out there?
Has anyone had any like crazy theme night ideas that you saw really work well the first year?
Let's throw out those crazy ideas. Anyone got one? Couple more ideas I saw. Build-A-Bear. Oh, go ahead. Jump in, Henry.
Well, I don't know if it's a crazy idea, but I did like a book club night where after the game, it was a day game, so not really a night, but it was a 1 o'clock game. So after the game, they used a part of our space to kind of host a book club meeting in itself.
I like it.
So that was pretty fun. Now I'm involved in a book club I have to go to monthly. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know. I when the idea was thought of, I was like, that seems kind of wacky. But
how many people did you get to come out, Henry? How big is the book club that you go to that you're now a part of?
So it's like, I think 400 to 500 girls.
Wow.
I had
not bad for you, right? You know.
I think I had like 96 come out for just off a whim, but you know, they're really excited to come out again. They have a lot of ideas about what they want to do. You know, we did like a co-branded bookmark with their theme, their logo with our logo. So excited to see where that takes us this year.
That's cool. I like that idea. That's very cool. You could even too partner with libraries, and you could even take the youth approach to that and do, you know, a book club with youth and potentially do something around even a book that's tied to your sport or, you know, former
Yeah.
athlete, those kinds of things. That could be, you know, there's all those who am I or who was. You know, there's even like a what is the Super Bowl or what is the World Series? Like those could be fun things too, to potentially tie that into kids and just take a totally different aspect to it.
Yeah.
So, Stranger Things, yeah, the Stranger Things nights. I saw those on a lot of baseball teams. They were doing like a jersey that was themed Stranger Things. So I don't know, is there anyone on here that's done a night around Stranger Things? If not, I can find some of the teams that have done it and throw them out there so you guys can reach out and find out. But there were a number of baseball teams that had it out there. So
We haven't done it, but we're definitely planning on trying to do it this next season. One, because we're in Indiana and it takes place in Indiana. And two, because I think it's the last season for Stranger Things. So we're hoping there's already going to be a lot of like hype around it. But the Indiana Fever did their alternate jerseys a few years ago for Stranger Things and they sold out like crazy. And so we're definitely thinking about trying to feed off that market. So I'd love to hear some ideas about that.
it's cool. Anyone else done it or no? So I guess we got to get some some of those baseball teams that have done it, but that's cool to know, Marie, that what happened there.
I just had a quick question. Is anyone in this chat from the MLB? Because I noticed just a lot of MLB teams do the same theme nights with the same licensing. So I didn't know if like they all shared the same license with each team.
Good question. I don't know if there's any. Are there any MLB teams on here? No? Doesn't look like it. We'll have to get some for the next call. We can ask them. Go ahead, Jackie.
I was going to say, so I come from the minor league baseball side, and I know that the MLB often will purchase out the rights to something, and then they'll offer each team a specific deal. So sometimes it's just a portion potentially of the bigger picture. We were able to jump onto, we were an affiliation for the Braves, and so when we were owned by them, we were able to jump onto any affiliate or any copyright that they had. So kind of piggybacking off of what they've already paid, but it trickles down through the system too.
Good to know. Thank you, Jackie. That's helpful. All right, we're coming up on the hour. Any other questions or thoughts or ideas? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. This was a fantastic call. We'll get information out about our next call. We're actually going to talk about buyer benefits. So whether that be season ticket benefits, group leader benefits, or just like fans that are purchasing, how are you rewarding people? What does that look like? So that is going to be on July 9th. We're going to kind of change the date and time a little bit because I know there's a lot of people that have conflicts. So that'll be more of a 4 p.m. Eastern time frame. So but until then, thank you, everyone. Hope you have a happy 4th of July. Happy Canada Day, because that's coming up too. So we will chat again soon. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.